We're live.
We're live.
First podcast in like a year together.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Getting Magnetic with Sandy Wade is back.
Not in any sort of regular cadence.
Yeah, to what capacity is it back?
It's when we have a message we need to share, if we're inspired by something, but like the 2 times a week like we did for 3 years is not aligned.
I love it because I was kind of waiting for you to initiate and feel like you're back, because like I feel like I could always be back. So our dynamic is more okay, Wade is ready to do whatever, whenever, pretty much. And so, but Sandy is like a powerhouse, but she needs to feel ready to do something in order to do it. And that's part of the generator in you too. So you came to me a few weeks ago like, babe, I feel like we could drop when we feel inspired getting Magnetic episodes, and like kind of makes me nervous, but I want to start with like everything we've been through in our story since Crew's been born, etc.
Yeah.
So I mean, set the tone for what do you feel like you want to share? Like what's to come this episode, or it might be a multiple series.
I think this is going to be like a postpartum series. I have people I want to interview that played like a really integral part. Is that a word? Integral part in supporting me. But it's going to start with just kind of the story. And I just want to like say trigger warning. Like if you're pregnant or you're about to give birth or you're in the thick of postpartum or you're struggling too, like you might not want to listen to this, because we are going to be talking a lot about really heavy, deep stuff and like postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety, a lot of the struggles and mental health stuff. So it might not be for you, and that's okay. I would not have been ready to listen to something like this if I was about to give birth. We're going to talk about the birth. We're going to talk about different things. So I guess I want to start with that. But really my intention of sharing, one, it's part of my healing journey. I am still on a healing journey. I feel like I will be forever. We all are, right? But since I've gotten back online in social media in the past couple weeks and I've shared tidbits of like the postpartum, I've had hundreds of messages from people asking questions. What did you go through? Like, I'm going through it, blah, 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 like all these things. And so a big part of me wanting to share too is like, maybe this can help people.
Yeah.
Well, not maybe, like I know it will.
That's kind of been our intention all along, is like, if we feel like we have a message to share that could help people, like let's put it out there. Let's share it.
Yeah.
Especially, in just building a personal brand this day and age, it's really like, what value can I add to the world? Do I want to put that out there into the world? And so with it, we've always aimed to honestly be pretty raw and pretty open and pretty vulnerable, in the sense of just like really sharing our life. Not every single thing, but we've shared a lot of our life. And this last chapter, the last year of our life, was the most challenging in our life together, since we've been dating and since we've been married. And we weren't ready to share it, and especially you weren't ready to share it. And I'm not gonna share it without you. And so it's probably cool and nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I literally feel like I could poop right now.
Yeah, I love it.
Like my stomach kind of hurts.
All big moments, I feel like, whether we're walking on stage in our business or different stuff, you always turn to me and you go, or we're going to train for a lot of people or something like that. You're like, babe, I feel like I need to poop. I have butterflies. So like, maybe that's a good sign.
Yeah, no, totally.
But I think too, bear with us here. And as far as the podcast goes on, this is probably going to end up being a multi-part series, because there's so much to share. And there was so many people that helped us in this season too. We might bring on some interviews and no like tangible, specific cadence or deliverables or anything. It's just like Getting Magnetic is going to be super flowy as far as when we feel called to just like pop on. We're actually shooting this on video too. I'll probably share it on YouTube. So YouTube, Spotify, Apple. But this, I feel like, is more turning the mic over to you, and I'm like supporting Cass on our journey and your journey. And I think it will help a lot of people. And what I realize outside looking in, you are vulnerable and raw, and you do share. And when you share things that most people aren't usually willing to share publicly, but so many people feel and relate to. So I just want to empower you that even if you feel a little nervous or scared, like share whatever feels right, but that a lot of people will probably relate to you and connect and be inspired.
So some might call me dramatic, but I think if most people went through what I went through in the past year, they would agree, like, I suffered excruciating circumstances. Like, that's just honestly how I feel.
Facts.
So I guess I'll start with sharing. So my pregnancies with my daughters, like, I loved being pregnant.
Yeah.
Like, I felt
Cutest
so
prego.
beautiful pregnant. I'd
You
always
are.
be stopped at stores and people are like, I just have to tell you, like, you're just glowing. Like, you're the most beautiful pregnant person ever. I'm like, thank you.
You had a glow.
I totally felt that way with the girls. And
Yeah.
then with our son, it was different for me.
You didn't
like,
feel even pregnancy the glow?
Sometimes, but like, remember I did 75 hard with Cove's pregnancy and I like crushed it. And then I did it with Cruz. And on day 45, I was like, no, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, my ankles were like triple the size that they're supposed to
Nutty
be.
professor feet.
Yeah, like everything hurt. I was so swollen at the height of pregnancy, like birthday with both my girls. I'm like, my healthy weight's like 135 pounds. With the girls, like at birth, I was like 175. So I gained like 40 pounds, which, there's no like perfect weight you should or shouldn't gain, but they say about a pound a week is like average. So I feel like I was very average with them. With Crew, the day I gave birth, I was 196 pounds. So like,
wow, I forgot about that. We were almost the same weight.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
I felt huge. My body hurt so bad. My low back, my SI, everything. So anyway, I just want to start with saying like the pregnancy was different and maybe should have been like a warning of like, girl, you're about to have a journey.
Coming.
Yeah. So yeah, the ending especially, it was so rough. I feel like I might be bouncing around a little bit, but I guess I'll start by saying like my sister was not able to be at the birth of either of my daughters. The first one because we started at home and after 26 hours we transferred to the hospital and it was still during COVID time and so they only let 2 people come. Obviously, my husband was one of them. And at the time, I felt it was necessary for my doula to be there as the second person. Knowing what I know now, like I would have had my sister. Like my sister could have acted as the doula, but because of that, my sister wasn't at the first one. And then with the birth of our second one, Cove, we did have a redemptive, amazing, beautiful home birth with her. And it kind of happened really fast. And I think Tanya just kind of couldn't really get there in time.
Yeah.
Because she lives in California and we live in Colorado. But she was there within like a couple days, I think.
Yeah, right.
Like she came as soon as she could. So yeah, she missed both the births. And so with our son, Crew, my sister was like, I am gonna be there, like no matter what it takes. And so I have always been kind of like a vivid dreamer. And like I kept dreaming and feeling like I'm having this baby April 14th. Like I just felt like that. And I told that to my sister and she's like, all right, well, I'm flying out.
Sandy's heavy on dates and intuitive dates and like this is happening, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we were all like, all right, let's start prepping.
Yeah. And he was due April 27th, which actually ended up being his exact birthday. But I thought he was coming the 14th. So anyway, my sister flew out on like the 12th. I'm like, Ton, I just know it. He's gonna be born on the 14th. She's like, all right, here we go. So she booked a one-way ticket. She came out. You guys, she was with us for 18 days. 18 days. So I started having like,
and she has 3 kids and a husband.
Yep. And so that was like the ultimate sacrifice. Imagine if you are a mom and you work a full-time job, like imagine being like, yo, hubby, like I'm out for like 3 weeks. Bye. Like
which we didn't know.
We didn't know that was going to happen.
Week, but and then the second week, shout out to supportive spouses and everyone, like, because so many people make things happen in life, especially you have a family. And so like, she is a legend in a word. And you guys are so loyal. Sisters, you know, siblings with sisters have such a bond and loyalty. And starting to see with our girls too, but shout out your sister
to Tom.
And her husband
and Uncle
for
Eric.
Holding down the fort with 3 kids for 3 weeks. I know is not easy.
Yeah. So anyway, she was still working her job. Like she kept having to like explain, her boss is like, so is this baby born yet? Like you coming back? Like, and so I started feeling guilty and pressure of like, I need to make this baby come. Like Tanya has been gone from her kids. Her kids missed her. She missed Easter. She'd never missed Easter. Her kids were like so devastated that she missed Easter. Like I started feeling a lot of guilt. I'm like, great. I'm completely interrupting her life. Her boss is starting to get annoyed. Like I started feeling pressure of like, I need to get this baby out of my body. And I'm someone that typically likes to like trust Mother Nature, like not rush things, like let nature take its course. But I started feeling like, okay, we need to have like intervention. Like we need to get this baby here. And so by like, I don't know, that my birthday's April 17th. Then there was a second where I'm like, oh my God, we're gonna have the same birthday. Like I thought for sure he'd be born on my birthday. No, he wasn't.
That passed. Yep.
And
we're like just all waiting, like on the edge of our seat.
Yes, like just waiting.
Day.
Every day felt like a week. Like it was just like the end of pregnancy was so challenging for me mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, like every level. So anyway, I want to say it was like the 24th of April. We went to Geneva, my midwife, and I was like, hey, and I don't, again, normally like to do interventions, but I was like, I think I want to do like a membrane sweep, which is like when, you know, your doctor or your midwife like puts their fingers in your cervix and like sweeps it to try to like help induce things. And so she did. And remember, like nothing happened. Like
Yeah.
she was like, I'm like, what am I dilated to? She's like, maybe one
Like,
for
yeah,
being generous.
it
Like
wasn't triggering anything.
it wasn't doing anything. So we did that. Didn't like it at all. It's not very comfortable. And then a few more days went by and like the anxiety was just like, I don't know. I think it was only one more day. It was the 25th. So April 25th, the next day we went back and she was like, listen, you are 40 weeks. Like you're good to go. Like if your sister's still here and you really want her to be here, like you can make what was it, a castor oil smoothie?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I've heard of this from a lot of people and I've literally never heard anyone say it doesn't work. So I was scared to do it because I'm like, I've heard people say like they have a castor oil smoothie and their baby's in their arms like 45 minutes later.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my God. So I again didn't want to like rush them out, but at the same time I did. So long story longer, she gave us the recipe, told us what to do. And we made it. And on Friday, April 25th at 6 p.m. And by 10 p.m. that night, I started having contractions.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm thinking because my second birth went pretty fast, like what, 12 hours maybe total-ish, that like we'd probably meet them like that night or the next morning. And so contractions start, it's going all night long. And I won't get into a ton of details with the birth, but basically around, wasn't it like 1 p.m. the next day? So we had not slept. Like it started at 10 p.m. on Friday and it was 1 p.m. in the afternoon on Saturday. And the contractions this whole time since they started were like 4 minutes apart, pretty intense.
Which is your MO.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wade and Tanya, my sister and Wade and my midwife, Geneva, were all rotating, like, you know, doing the hip presses, all the stuff.
There wasn't a lot of
not
rotation
as much as that.
there.
Oh, am I confusing some of my births?
No, I was doing the hip.
Oh.
The hip. I was the hip man.
You were the hip man.
They were like, we've been here before,
yeah.
and she wants you, and you do CrossFit, so you got to do the hip thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I'm on the hip thing.
Yeah.
You guys are female, emotional, feminine support, and I'll do the hip thing.
Yeah.
Which just helped relieve Sandy's pressure.
Yeah, it helped. Well, because I had back pain. I had so much back labor.
Yeah.
Cameron, our firstborn, and Crew, our thirdborn, were both sunny side up, which is like when their head is like
our
their
Crew was just cocked. He wasn't sunny side up.
He wasn't? Well,
No.
Whatever. They weren't in the optimal position. Let's put it that way. And so it causes a lot of back pain. And I broke my tailbone 14 years ago snowboarding. And that always seems, that whole area and like the SI and the low back always seems to be like activated like around birth for me. So anyway, it's about 1 p.m. and I basically like look at you and Sina and Geneva and Tanya, and I'm like, I think we need to go to the hospital. Like, I just got to a point where I really don't like using the word pain, but it's pain. Like the pain got to a point where I'm like, I'm so tired. Like we went to sleep on Thursday, woke up on Friday morning.
A home birth. I forgot if we didn't.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The goal was a home birth, just like the second baby. But like, it's like we went to sleep on Thursday, woke up Friday morning at like 6 a.m. and hadn't slept since then. And then labor started Friday night. And then at this point, it's Saturday at 1. So it's like, I can't do the math, but we hadn't slept in a while.
Yeah.
And so I'm exhausted. I'm in pain. And I look at them.
And labor wasn't like progressing was the thing.
Yes.
That was the key thing is that I'm tracking with the midwives is like, you're going through it and all these waves and contractions, but there wasn't progression.
Yeah.
So then that kind of starts to alert like, all right, maybe baby's out of place or something where baby doesn't want to come down into the birth canal to be born because something's off.
Didn't I have Geneva check me and I was at 6 centimeters? Or was that one sweep off to the hospital? So, no, yeah. So I felt like, okay, must be getting, like, it's intense. But then it's like later we found out I was at 6 centimeters, which is like, okay. Anyway, so we got to a point where I was like, I want to transfer. So,
which I give you a lot of credit for, like, because you're a pretty stubborn might be the right word, but like when you set your mind to something, you're like, I am doing this.
Totally.
And I know you wanted to do a home birth and that was our plan, but I give you a lot of credit for also allowing and receiving and being flexible and being fluid and like being intuitive and listening to your body, like, something feels off. I feel like we need to go to the hospital.
Well, you
It's
know
not
what's
an easy
crazy
decision.
is like one of my biggest fears was getting a C-section. And remember on April 23rd, I had a nightmare that I had a
Mm-hmm.
C-section.
Mm-hmm.
And I group texted Yumi and Geneva, and I was like, Geneva, can I come over? Like, I need to process some fears with you about a C-section. She's like, let's talk about it. So Wade and I went to her house. I told her like this was the dream. I told it to her in detail, and she was like, one, the crazy thing is, because I told her in detail this specific dream. She was like, the crazy thing is that happened to me last night with a different client. Like, remember, it was like in
Yeah.
the tub at the
Wow.
house. The baby's heart rate was at 80, like all this stuff. And I told
Yeah.
her this detailed dream, and she was like, that exact thing happened to me last night with
Yeah, that
another
was
client.
wild. That was
So
wild.
that was one thing that's crazy. But secondly, she was like, let's talk about it. Like, let's say you did have a C-section. Like,
Yeah, like why is that a
is that so
nightmare? Let's
devastating to you?
process it. Yeah. Which was such a pro midwife move.
Totally.
Like,
Like, even though she's like obviously wanted to help us have the dream home birth that we wanted, like she is pro birth in any way that this
yeah.
beautiful baby comes to the world. There's no like I don't like when people are like, was your baby born naturally or not? It's like all babies are born naturally. Like
Yeah.
whether they come through a vagina, whether it's an epidural, whether it's not, whether it's a home birth, whether it's a C-section, whether it's unassisted at home, like it doesn't matter. Like when your baby is born, like let's not call that natural or unnatural. Like you gave birth to a baby in whatever way that you did. It's hard work. So, long story longer, we broke down all the fears, and I'm so glad we did because it prepared me for what was coming. So, anyway, we get to where we're driving to the hospital. That was literally the longest 13 minutes of my life.
I was ready to deliver.
Well, you know
if
what's
I had to
crazy
pull
too?
over.
I had a hospital bag packed in my closet for like a month. Remember this?
Yeah.
Remember when we got to the hospital and we got into it, you were like, you have like the best snacks ever in this bag. I was like, it's like I knew that we were going to be at the
Sandy
hospital.
loves her snacks. She's passed it down to our daughters, especially Cove. And you had an amazing snack set up in the hospital bag.
It's like I knew, and we wanted to be set up. So anyway, we drive to the hospital. You and I were in one car. I think Tanya stayed home with the girls and then helped transition. I think your brother Byron and Tara came over. They took over for the girls, and then anyway, we drove in one car to the hospital. Geneva was in another, and Geneva was in front of us, and she calls us as we're like exiting. This hospital's only 13 minutes from our house, and she was like, "Hey, I just called. They don't have any room available." You guys, my contractions were so intense. I had sweat dripping off my hair. I couldn't even sit in the chair. I was on my knees in the passenger seat, facing backwards with my neck like over the neck. Like, back. Oh my gosh, we have a video of it.
I was ready to like pull over and deliver on the highway. That's crazy.
Which is crazy. He wasn't born for another day.
I know. But like, I was just like mentally preparing, like, all right, well, third time around, we can do this, like in my head.
Yeah. No, I was in so much discomfort. So she was like, hey, I just want to let you know I called. They have no rooms available. I was so pissed. I was like, I don't fucking care. We're pulling up. They're not going to see me like this and not let me in. No, we're not going to a different hospital. We're exiting the freeway right now. We're 2 minutes away. I need assistance. I need an epidural. Like, I can't take this anymore. So we pull up, and literally like staff is not allowed to come out and help you get in. But like they saw me like heaved over, like wailing, and someone like came out with like a what is it called? A wheelchair. And I couldn't sit in it. I was on my knees, and Geneva was like pushing in. Wade ran and like parked the car and comes in. And I literally remember seeing a couple in the like triage. It's like this beautiful, like half Asian girl, super pregnant. And her husband, I could totally tell they were first time parents. And I'm pretty sure they had like a scheduled induction because they're like,
they were like made up.
Yeah, her hair and makeup. Nice, she looks so cute. They're taking selfies.
She's walking.
They look peaceful. And they're telling the front desk people are like, we have no room. And then suddenly they were like, we have a room available. And I swear they saw me come wheeled in, and they were like, yo, like we'll push back the time of our baby because that girl doesn't like that is scary.
Sandy rolls in like
moaning, like
beast mode, like hair like sweating everywhere, everything like bent over, knees on the wheelchair, like it was like out of a National Geographic scene. And I think the other couple was like, they can grab the room.
Yeah, and we go into the elevator. Yeah, whoever you were, their baby literally I think was born later because of that. Like, and then I remember seeing them a couple days later in the on that labor floor. Anyway, I don't know for sure, but I just always had a feeling like that they were like, oh, we don't want to like, they can go. So anyway, super grateful for that. And I remember going up in that elevator and like I was just hit with emotion. And I honestly was like, God, if you're real, like, please, please. Because I was just like in so much pain, and just fear started hitting me of being like, like, I don't know, just like what's going to happen? Like, am I going to get help in time? Like when you're in that much physical pain, like you're like, please, like, I just felt like, save me, save me. Like, and I literally remember out loud saying like, God, if you're real, like, please show up for me. So anyway, within minutes, like amazing staff, like amazing team. Everyone was nice. Like truly within minutes, I had an epidural and they had a
Sandy
room for me.
loves the
relief.
anesthesiologist or whatever.
Yeah.
She's always like broing out with them, boy, man or woman, but like, you are a saint, like, oh my gosh, thank you. And the gratitude, the overflow of gratitude once the epidural hits for the anesthesiologist is like,
it's unbelievable.
It's so funny.
It's like torture to like the ultimate relief. And I don't want to say torture because it's like, I have given unmedicated birth but Kobe was in the optimal position and it didn't hurt that same way. Like it was very different. It honestly felt like there was like a saw to my spine. Like, like I don't even know how to describe it. Like splitting my butthole open, going up my back, like horrible. So anyway, the ultimate relief.
Guys aren't tough enough to give birth. I know that for a fact.
Yeah. So anyway, we get into a room and we had the most beautiful room.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. It was huge. It was like a massive suite.
I still, even after Cameron, we had a great hospital birth, like had this underlying like kind of fear of the hospital. Every time we're there, especially for our 2 births at the hospital, like I just get reinforced like, wow, nurses are angels on earth. Hospitals, a lot of ways are meant to help you. And yeah, this beautiful room with the view, it was like,
the sunset that night was like the most incredible
sunsetting over the Rockies. It was kind of like, it was pretty beautiful and euphoric almost.
Yeah. So, okay. So, and I do think everything happens for a reason and sometimes it doesn't make sense in the moment, but when they were checking us in, so Geneva, our home birth midwife, came with us and she essentially acted as the doula. But once she came to the hospital, she has to turn over care. Like she's not the primary provider anymore because we're at the hospital, right? So she was kind of there more as support. And honestly, Geneva's become such a good friend. I love her. So she was there as support, but they were asking us and her like, okay, who do you want to be under the care of, the OBGYN or the hospital midwife? And I was like, well, what's the difference? And they're like, well, I mean, if you want to have minimal interventions, you might want to go into, like with the midwife versus the OBGYN, like they might lean more towards interventions or like a C-section. And I was like, okay, let's go with the hospital midwife. So we chose on the hospital midwife and I do feel like this is where my entire story kind of like took a shift. I'm obviously super grateful for her, but at the same time, like the way she acted in the birth is what triggered so much of what was to come. Basically, we got checked into the room. I was FaceTiming my dad at one point. I think at this point it's like 4 p.m. on Saturday. I'm FaceTiming my dad. I'm like, oh, so much relief. We're good. Like, we're probably going to meet him in the morning. And this woman was in the room. I'm pretty sure her name was Rachel. And she overheard me say, he'll probably be born by the morning. And she's like, oh no, he'll be born like before midnight. And I was like, huh? And she was like, it's your 3rd baby. Like, like you won't push more than an hour. And I was like, okay. I was like, I pushed for 4 hours with my first, like my births are kind of long, like they're intense. And she's like, no. Well, come to find out much later, she had been on like a 36-hour shift when we came in. And when we elected to have the midwife, she was like, okay, I'll stay to like help this lady. So this poor woman was exhausted. And so she was probably just like, no, this baby's being born tonight because I want to go home and sleep. But like kind of projecting that like onto me. So anyway, like we were waiting for, I got a nap. We were waiting for me to get to 10 centimeters, all the things. And my room was beautiful. And like by the time it got dark, like we had twinkle lights everywhere. We had essential oils going. We had my birth playlist. Like we tried to make it feel as much as a home birth.
It was
as
cool.
possible.
Yeah.
And anyway, when it finally got to time to start pushing, it was midnight. And so I already felt like this woman had an energy towards me of like I felt like I was disappointing her. Like she had this, I just had this feeling of like, I'm disappointing her. Like, and I didn't know at that point that she was that tired. I found out later when there was like intervention with the hospital and like kind of sharing with them, like how disappointed I was in this specific, like the way this was handled. I found out later, like that she was super tired and all this stuff. So like, I do have compassion for her, but in the moment I didn't know like what was going on. But anyway, I pushed 4 hours. Literally for 4 hours I pushed. And we had like that like gymnastics looking bar where my legs were pushed back.
Mm-hmm.
I was on my hands and knees. We were doing all these different breathing techniques. Like we were trying everything. And then at one point she was like, can I have the OBGYN come in for a second opinion? And I'm like, a second opinion? Like I've pushed babies out. I don't need opinion. I don't need people to observe me. I'm not like a caged animal in a zoo that needs to be like observed. But like that's how I was starting to feel. But I was like, sure, she can come in. And so there started being like more and more interventions. She kept like asking, like, she's like, I need to, okay, push, and I need to feel like where the baby's head is. So like she kept putting her fingers in my vagina. It got to a point where both of her hands up to her wrists were in my vagina.
Mm.
And I had the mirror, and I remember seeing it and being so disturbed by it, but I was so fucking tired that I didn't have the words to be like, do not do that. Like I just said, do we have to do that? Or I'd be like, on the next one, can you not do it? Or can you just do one hand? Like I kept like, but I'm also so tired and like working so hard, pushing and like taking a break and pushing and taking a break, like constantly every minute, that like it seems in listening to this, it's like, why didn't you just tell her don't do that? But when I was in it, like I was just like, I didn't like it, and it felt against every like, I didn't like it, but like I didn't say don't do that. But even reflecting on it with you after, or even with Geneva after, like it was like Geneva was like, I've never seen that. Like that was, you don't do that. Like she was trying to help twist his head and like help not necessarily pull him out, but like just get him in a better position. But little did I know at that time, but I believe that that triggered something in me of this deep innate feeling that I've had many times in my life that I didn't know, of feeling like sexually violated. And it triggered all sorts of other things about a week after he was born, which we'll get to that part of the story. But long story longer, a lot of like hands inside of me, a lot of people like observing me. My soul started feeling defeated, and I started having like an absolute knowing that I was going to have a C-section, but I didn't say it yet. Like I was just in my head imagining, what is this recovery going to be like? Like, what am I going to feel like? Like, what is it going to be like when I have to, you know, tell the world like, oh, nope, I transferred to the hospital and I ended up getting a C-section. Like I started like going down that loop. And then they weren't, and I have to say too, Crew's heart rate was never, this was never an emergency. Like he was doing fine. It was just like I was exhausted and over it, and I wanted
there
to,
wasn't
like,
the progression really.
Yes. And so, by the way, I just remembered, do you remember when I was in the tub in our bedroom on that Saturday morning? It was like, I don't know, like 12:30 in the morning. I was like, I looked at you, I'm like, babe, our baby's gonna be born between 4 and 8 a.m. And you were like, oh my God, babe, like it's almost 1, like that's soon. And I was like, I didn't say today. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because he was born between 4 and 8 a.m., but it was on that Sunday. But anyway, so yeah, after 4 hours of pushing, I don't know, I just started hearing like, I could tell by the tone in her voice, some of the stuff she was saying, like I felt like she was checked out, like she was like she wanted to leave. Like I felt like I didn't know how to keep like performing. My body stopped. I felt like my cervix was tightening up. I felt like everything, my body was like rejecting her. I didn't want to be near her. And then I had such good vibes and energy from the OBGYN, who did end up, you know, being the one that performed the C-section. But anyway, they were talking about, you know, we could get a vacuum, like, and they started talking about other things. And I literally was like, if you work at this hospital, please exit the room. Like, I had everyone get out, and I had been thinking this for like an hour, but I didn't know how to say it. And I had them all get out. I looked at Wade, I looked at Tanya, and I looked at Geneva, and I was like, are you guys going to think I'm a failure if I get a C-section? And they're like, no, like, we want you to do like whatever you need. Like, you're the mother, this is your body. Like, and I was like, I'm getting a C-section. Like, that's what I need to do. I want my son on my chest in the next like 15 minutes. Like, I need to meet him. I can't keep doing this. Like, I feel violated. Like, everything hurts. Like, I'm done. Like, I just want to meet my son. And so we had them come back in, and the OBGYN was incredible. Like, truly. Dr. Gordon, I think was her name. And I told her I decided, and she was like, you are so brave. Just so you know, the baby's not in danger. Like, this won't be an emergency.
It wasn't, emergency.
This won't be. She's like, but I do want to tell you, as soon as I notify the team that we're about to have surgery, it is going to feel like an emergency. All these lights, like right now, it's romantic in here with the dark lights and the music. It's going to turn, everything's going to get bright. We're going to wheel you into the OR. and there's suddenly going to be like 15 people around. You're going to hear beeping noises. Like it's surgery. It's like what you see out of a movie. And I'm like, okay, thank you for saying that. And then I just, yeah, remember being wheeled down the hallways and just like seeing signs up above. And like, next thing you know, we're in the room and like, you just hear like beeping and noises and like, it's just so fast. And like, I'm just laying there like Jesus, like arms on the, like out on the cross. And I just remember at one point asking like, when is he going to be born? And they were like, he's here. I'm like, he is? Like, so yeah, I got anesthesia through the IV. Like, yeah, I didn't even, it's like, it was like an out of body experience. Like, and I would love to hear from your perspective because I really don't remember. Like, I think I was in and out of consciousness.
I mean, that part, it's amazing, Western medicine, like what we can do. And because Crew was kind of cocked, his head was cocked, which made it really hard for him to make progress through the birth canal. It was almost like halted. And that's where like 4 hours of pushing, even the midwife, like getting all up in there and trying to pull him out wasn't working. And, you know, babies kind of lead birth. And that's what we've learned from midwife and 3 births and different stuff. And so a baby's not going to like come out head cocked, like in the wrong position. And so it wasn't emergent, but like it apparent after we learned like it was the right call because they got to see his positioning. But yeah,
she told me the next day when she cut me open that his left cheek was like fully up. So like his neck was turned completely. Like that adds like extra inch or so of like the circumference.
Yeah, he was just like almost stuck, like couldn't make progress through the birth canal. And so it was so fast. And obviously there's this sheet that separates you. And it seemed like in an instant, like I'm just there holding your hand and you're being so brave and you're somewhat out of it. And the next thing you know, he's there with us and he's on your chest and we're, you know, crying and smiling and snuggling him and all was well. They got to do the checks on him and on, you know, mom and everything. And all was well there. But yeah, it's a you know, I don't like cringe a lot in life, but I still like cringe thing whenever, you know, you send me something on C-sections or cutting 7 layers or stuff. Like I'm like, oh man, like it's still something that for me, not having been through it personally, I can only imagine for you or for anyone listening who's been through C-section, it's a big sacrifice to bring your baby to Earthside, and it's so obviously worth it. But there's a lot, that goes on in the recovery process from it. So then, yeah, you were kind of out of it, but like he was there and Crew.
I remember seeing him for the first time with the plastic sheet, and I was like, he's so like rolly, like he was definitely
his head was perfectly shaped.
Yes,
and
biggest baby. Like our daughters were 7'2" and then 7'14", and he was 8'9".
Yeah.
So he was definitely a bigger baby. But yeah, he was so like rolly and like I could just see his like little brown cheeks and everything.
The love affair began.
Oh, the love affair began. I love him so much. But yeah, then it was like I had this fear of just, you know, like I didn't have that immediate skin to skin with him. Like you went over and they're like weighing him or whatever.
Well, we brought him over and you guys kissed and there was some, but it wasn't like right onto the chest. Yeah.
No. And then yeah, like I just had all these fears. And I remember like being kind of like tired and in and out of it and whatever. And just, I'd be like, wait, go be with him. And then I just remember at one point being like, make sure they don't circumcise him. Like I was like, that's something we've chose. Like we don't want. And I was scared. Like, what if that gets done like behind my back while I'm asleep? Like, I don't know. There's just like certain things that I was like, I felt out of control.
Yeah.
So anyway, I remember like fast forward, that next morning, my sister was there. My sister wasn't obviously like in the operation room, only Wade was allowed. But when I got back to the room, the beautiful, you know, suite that we had, my sister was like crying and she's like, Sam, I knew I had to stay because I knew you were going to have a C-section.
Like, and she had a C-section with her third, which was her boy, 2 daughters, third boy. There's so many like synchronicities.
We have so many synchronicities. Yeah. It's crazy. Like 2 vaginal births with our first daughters and then third one. A son. And so she was like, I had to be here for you. And so, yeah, my sister was she ended up leaving the day after, but at least was there, you know, she was so supportive to us like weeks leading up. And then anyway, before she left, I remember being in the hospital. It was so hard, dude. A C-section recovery is like truly, I'm not trying to scare anyone, but like when you're not planning on that, it is such a gnarly recovery. And you guys have heard my birth. Like I had to recover from a vaginal birth, even though he didn't fully come through the vagina. Like I did a lot of work. I had to recover from that and the C-section. So I just felt like my body like got mutilated, like truly. And I remember the next morning, it took like 6 minutes to walk to the bathroom because I could barely even move. And it felt like the biggest accomplishment when I stood up and walked to the bathroom because, of this like major surgery. But I remember telling Tanya, I'm like, Ton, they left cotton down there. There's like these like fuzzy cotton balls. Like, I'm gonna bend over. Can you help like pull them out? And I remember like bending over and I'm like reaching back behind my butt. I'm like, right there. Like, can you get that? What is that? And she's like, San, that's your labia. I'm like, what? Like, that's how swollen I was. And like, it was like my vagina was like swollen, puffed out the back, like massive, like so much blood, so much bleeding. I mean, it was like fully recovering from a vaginal birth. Like, I wore a diaper or pad for 5 weeks, I think. Like, it was gnarly. So anyway, that was kind of like the initial birth. I was super drugged up for like the first 24 hours, so it didn't even hit me. Like, I remember joking around with like the hospital staff and being like, oh my gosh, like, I'm every woman, that Tina Turner song, like, that song. It's like, I'm every woman, it's all in me. Because I'm like, I've given hospital birth, I've given unmedicated birth, I've had vaginal births, I've now had a C-section. Like, I'm every woman, I've done it all. I can relate to all women, all the things, they're all beautiful. And I just remember feeling that and being like, yeah, it's not what I wanted, but like, I'll be fine. And just kind of feeling like, he's here, he's good. And just that was it. And then obviously you're on a lot of pain meds for the recovery. And I knew I wanted to be careful with like, what are they called? Like Norcos and Oxycontin. What are those called? Like, I know they're pain meds, but I don't know. I don't like that stuff. It like mentally makes me like feel things that aren't true. Like, I start losing my mind a little bit. And so anyway, we were in the hospital for 3 days. I think we got released on day 4, right? But I remember on day 3 being in so much pain, like the pain was hitting me, and we were on a rotation of like, Motrin every 6 hours, Oxycontin or whatever. I don't even remember the schedule. It was insane. Like, all the drugs to like help with the pain. And I remember one night you were asleep. He was in the little like bassinet thing next to me. It's like 2 a.m. I can't fall asleep and I can't reach him. I can't move. I couldn't hit the like nurse button because it was like too far to reach. And I just remember trying to say your name and being like, wait. And like, you couldn't hear me. And it was like the first, like, reflecting back, the first like mental thing that started hitting me in this postpartum of, I believed, this is like, sounds crazy to say out loud, but that like you and the hospital staff were like, this sounds so crazy to say out loud, but we're like co-conspiring to try and like torture me and slowly kill me. And I kept envisioning that you were going to leave with him and you were going to be a single dad of 3 babies and I was going to die. Like, this was the first like psychotic mental episode. And I do think it was like drug induced to start. And then eventually sleep deprivation, like all these things in the coming weeks, repressed memories, like all these layers of things that ended up happening. But I just remember being so scared of like, who can I trust? Like, feeling almost like I was in a game and like, I'm the only one I can trust. And anyway, like, I remember feeling that feeling for hours that night and just, I couldn't sleep. I was in pain. I felt like you couldn't hear me, or maybe you could and you were ignoring me. No one was coming in to check because I wasn't pushing the button, but I couldn't reach the button. Like, it was like this whole thing. And then when you woke up, I was like, babe, I need them to check my vitals. I'm not okay. Like, I was having, now I know, a panic attack, right? And then they like run everything and they're like, you are completely fine. And it was just like, what was going on up here? And that was like the first episode, but there was many, 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 many of them. But anyway, we went home and, gosh, who was here first? Your dad and my dad. Yeah. Your dad and my dad helped us the first week. And then literally, I think day 5 postpartum, so we'd been home for like 24 hours. I knew something was wrong. And I was like, we need to go back to the hospital. And we went back and I got diagnosed with postpartum preeclampsia. Which I didn't have during pregnancy. A lot of women get preeclampsia during pregnancy, and it's like extreme swelling, high blood pressure, protein in your urine, and it can lead to seizures, strokes. It can be dangerous. Like, it does kill people. But I got diagnosed with it postpartum. And so those first 6 weeks postpartum, you need to be like very careful. But anyway, I think my theory is that my body doesn't feel like it gave birth, like because the baby never like, fully came out of the vagina. So I feel like my body didn't make the connection that like this baby was born because I was cut open and he was like just taken out of my body. And so I feel like my body just continued to feel like all that swelling, all that stuff I was feeling like, I don't know. I feel like that my body was in some sort of like metabolic chaos with just the way everything went
for
down.
Sure.
And so anyway, that was
lost a ton of blood, hormones, obviously,
Yep.
birth, the recovery, the inflammation from pretty much vaginal birth to a C-section. Yeah, there's there's just so many factors going on to a baby needing you as you're the sole life source. Like,
Yep. Yeah. So anyway, my dad was here. We were, it was day 5 postpartum. And it's funny because I feel like we're pretty holistic, and we have always, like with our daughters, like we honored the first 40 days, which is a concept of like, the first 40 days postpartum. It's like your 4th trimester. It's like you really take care of, I mean, you should always take care of the mother, but it's like you really like slow down and you don't really leave the house, and you're very mindful of who's allowed in the home and around you guys, and you're just protecting you're staying in
and
your
you get off social media, and we're in the bed or bedroom where you are for the first like 2 weeks or 15 days, very sacred.
It's called the 5-5-5. 5 days in the bed, 5 days on the bed, 5 days around the bed. Like you can Google any of these things, and midwives and people that are like, especially in like the holistic birth community, like they know, a lot of this stuff. So that was kind of our mindset and what I wanted to do. But I feel like reflecting on this postpartum, we had none of that. Like I was in and out of the ER. How many times did we go? 4 times, like in those first few weeks.
Something like that.
Yeah. And it was all related to high blood pressure, extreme, like severe panic attacks.
Panic.
I mean, we were so concerned. I thought I was having seizures because, I mean, at one point I was having 15 to 20 panic attacks per day. And some of them were so scary. I mean, remember that one where I had the hawkas on my boobs? It was like 1 a.m. You were feeding him a bottle. I had the hawkas on the boob. Next thing you know, I'm like flopping like a freaking dying fish on the bed. My hawkas and milk are flying. You know what? The other day, I'm 9 months postpartum. The other day, I was like, what is that on the wall? I saw all this dried liquid on the wall, and I realized it was the milk. So I literally got like a wet wipe and like wiped it all off. But I was like, shit, that is literally the milk that flew that one time. But anyway, I was flopping on the bed. I ended up flopping on the floor everywhere. We called 911. Like it was a whole thing. And we ended up like fighting and advocating for me getting a medical EEG to scan my brain, because we're like, what is going on? Like something is wrong. But anyway, I'm kind of like jumping out of order. So I feel like we need to go. What time is it right now? How much time do we have left? Oh, we're still good on some time.
Like 15 or so.
Okay,
20.
so I feel like we need to pivot to the part of the story where I'm 6 days postpartum, sitting on the toilet, like so much pain, and I asked like 40 people to pray for me. I've never asked anyone to pray for me. I feel like I need to share this part and then what happened the next morning.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to pull up the text. If you guys don't know this, you can go to if you have an iPhone, you can go to your text and type in, you can type in like keywords if you remember them from like a text, and it will pop right up.
I think everyone knows that.
I was talking about this with Tanya.
Everyone under like 50.
Tanya said Eric didn't know. Okay, you could talk about something while I find this, because I want to read this.
Yeah, I'm along for the ride with the listeners. Like, I was obviously there for this, but Sandy is a really, really good storyteller, and when she gets in flow, it's like just next level.
This is crazy. I remember the date that it happened. It was May 3rd. So I just typed in May 3rd on my text, and then it will just come up that way. May 3rd, 2025.
It's about to get juicy.
Yeah. Like all that was just like the preemptive.
I don't even know what detail level we go into. I'll let you lead on that, but
I'm going to be,
the juice is coming.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be a little cautious here. Let's see. Sorry guys, I really want to read this. Okay, let's say May.
Here, I'll look for it.
May 2025. It's a text. I screenshotted it. Hold on, let me find it. I know it's here somewhere. Oh my gosh, I'm seeing pictures of him when he was 6 days old. He's like the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Sandy and crew now. He's 9 months, almost 10. 10 months tomorrow as of the time of this recording.
Oh my
And
gosh,
him and
tomorrow.
Sandy are just like lovebirds. It's so cute to see their bond and their relationship. Like there's something different about, like, for me, being a girl dad and a boy dad is like a different dynamic. You love your kids so much, but also it's fun to see Sandy having been a girl mom and now a boy mom. It's just so cute. Like they're obsessed. I feel like for me, like he's so cute, but like when he's like 18 months or 2 and he's walking around, we're playing and we're wrestling and we're playing catch and we're playing ball. Like that's when like dad and son really start to like bond extra.
Totally.
But this stage is like Sandy and crew are just funny story actually. We knew we were gonna name him Crew, and Sandy read this book or something in the middle, like there was a name Wilder or something. She's like, "What about Crew Wilder?" Loved it. Crew Wilder Critides. And one day, I'm Greek, and I was like, "Babe, what do you think about like Leonidas as a first name?" She's like, "Absolutely
Well, I know
not."
you're kidding and trying to be funny.
Well, no, I was like, there was a little bit of like, huh, like what about Leonidas?
And not that that's that might be a great name for someone.
Leo
But
for short.
Leo I like, but
Leonidas Adonis Critides.
babe, I'm so annoyed I can't find
You
it.
don't need to read it.
Ugh,
Just
I just wanted
paraphrase
to
it.
read it,
No,
but
paraphrase
because
it.
I remember writing it and being so desperate. But basically, I remember this so vividly. It was May 3rd of 2025. It was Saturday night. My son was 6 days old. I'm sitting on the toilet. I'm in so much pain, um, physically, mentally, emotionally. Like I just feel icky. I feel heavy. I feel just this like, I mean, knowing what I know now, I honestly feel that it was like a spiritual like attack in a lot of ways. But I'm sitting there and I literally sent a text asking like 40 of my friends that I know have like big faith to pray for me. I've never asked anyone to pray for me. I wasn't raised like with faith, really. I mean, I shouldn't say with faith, like, but like religious or um I don't know. I never like, believed in like God or anything like that. I mean, I was like, it's possible, like I believe in higher power, but like I don't know, I just don't really like connect to that. It doesn't really make sense to me. So anyway, I'm sitting on this toilet. I'm in so much pain, and I sent this long text. Oh my god, you found it! Wow, he found the
Sandy
text.
and Tech is just, I don't remember the day or the thing or any words in it, but like just a quick search
Wow,
on my
this makes
phone.
me
It's here.
sad reading this because I remember what this felt like. So this was Saturday, May 3rd at 10:21 p.m. I'm sitting on the toilet, like I could barely. I remember I kept blinking and like looking up because I had so many tears filling my eyes that I couldn't like even see what I was typing. But I sent this text in a group text with like several, like a lot of like high level leaders that we work with in our company, but also like a lot of other, like I copy and pasted it and sent it to people that I know have like big faith. And this is what I wrote. This text says, please, please, please cover me in prayer that I can sleep. I've only slept 15 hours in 1 week. Even on all the sleeping meds that they gave me, I've been having hallucinations and intrusive thoughts, fucking horrible nightmares. Like we finally leave the hospital and I trip and I hurt Crew. The level of guilt and sadness I get from those dreams, even though they aren't real, is debilitating. My brain is playing tricks on me. I'm very sleep deprived, which is causing massive panic attacks, paranoia, and insane crying episodes. Please pray my incision pain and back pain is lifted. The preeclampsia is horrible, and I need to watch the symptoms daily so it doesn't get more serious. I can't take much more. I want to wake up tomorrow and actually, all caps, enjoy my 1 week old son. I want to remember this as a joyous time. I love you guys. Oh, it makes me so sad. And like even seeing the responses, like look what they're saying. I can't even
Praying, yeah.
But I felt like I was begging for like help. And so I sent that text and
Oh, chills.
yeah, like that night I feel like is when like nothing had even been intense until what happened the next morning.
Mm-hmm.
So and part of one of the many symptoms that I had in this postpartum was sleep paralysis. Remember how horrible that was?
Mm-hmm.
I would wake up and I could like make noises, but I couldn't like really talk. And it was like I could open my eyes,
Oh,
but
it's wild.
I couldn't move. Remember
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
So I remember waking up and this was crazy. So I woke up the next morning. Well, obviously we were up all night, probably like feeding him or whatever. But I remember at this one point waking up and like looking, and it was like 4:56, like or four. It was like right around, like it was like that, which is the exact minute he was born. He was born at 4:56 a.m. the week before, and so it was like literally 1 week since he'd been born. I wake up, I see the time, and I have this like urge. It's almost like that feeling like you have to throw up, like you have something urgent, like you need to get up, but I couldn't move. So I'm like laying there, and I'm like was I talking or was I just making noises?
I think noises.
Yeah, I think I was like
Yeah.
trying to get you, and you were like, came over, you're like, babe, what's wrong? What's wrong? And then I remember being like, left arm. And then you like help me with my left arm. I'm like, left leg, and then my left leg. I'm like, sit up. And you like, I could say like demands, and you'd be like, you're being like rude. And I'd like have demands. Remember that? I would be like that. It was like weeks of me like it was like if I got out a word, it was like amazing. And so grateful I could talk, but I think you felt like I was like being really mean, and I wasn't trying to. I was like desperate to get help, and I was so proud I could like say the word because I was like in a frozen state.
Yeah.
So anyway, you helped.
Well, it was just a very interesting and weird.
You'd never seen me do that. I've never done anything like that.
There wasn't like, it was survival mode 1. 2, a lot was happening biologically in you and mentally. And then, yeah, you couldn't talk much, but it was almost like any level of like compassion or emotion or anything was like stripped and gone. So it was like left leg, it was like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it was almost like, what's happening? Like,
yeah,
who is
are
this?
you? Yeah. So anyway, I remember you helping me get out of bed. We walked. You walked over with me to the bathroom. I look in the mirror, and I remember thinking like, this is the last time you're gonna look in the mirror. Like it's like Sandy before this moment and Sandy after this moment. And I knew I was like, I have to tell you something, and I've never told this to anyone before. And I said that, and I was like, who just said that? Like I knew I said it, but I was like, what am I gonna tell him? Like I didn't know what I was about to say. And then the next words came out of my mouth, and it like shocked me when I said it because it wasn't even like in my conscious mind.
It's a repressed memory.
It was a repressed memory, but I said, I have to tell you something, and I've never told this to anyone. Isn't that what I said? And I just blurted out like, I was molested when I was 12 years old at church camp. Would you remember what your reaction was?
I think just compassion, and like there was so much happening in our life and your state and everything, and it was just not mad or not shock, or like, I mean shock, but it was more just like I wanted to make sure you felt like I was there for you, and you're seen and heard, and like it's hard to like, there's nothing you can really do other than just like, hey, I'm here, and just hug.
Totally.
But like let you process it too.
Well, and I remember at one point you were like, so did you just like, you haven't told me this? Like, has it been something you've been like, you thought I was like keeping it a secret, but I didn't even.
I think I was just asking. I think I was just curious.
Not keeping it a secret, but like I think you thought I like consciously knew, but I didn't consciously know until that moment.
I wasn't like at that time super familiar with repressed memory, so I think I was trying to understand like, wait, so is this something that you just remembered?
Yes.
Or like
but then it was crazy as you started asking me questions. Remember, I just started pouring out. I'm like, it was summer of 2021, I think it was, or sorry, 2001. His name was Jeffrey. He was 17 years old. He was a camp counselor. He came into my bunk bed. Like I just started like telling you everything. I'm like, Tanya was in bed with me. She was asleep. Then he took me out of the bed. Then he brought me to the bathroom. And like, I'm not going to get into the details of what happened. I just don't think that's something at this time in my life that I want to like publicly share. But I am going to write a book, and I might share more details there. But I remember telling you this, and like I felt like 1,000 pounds was removed from my body. And it was like, holy shit, I did not remember this for 24 years. I was 12 years old when this happened. I'm 36 at this time. Like 24 years, my body did not remember. But you know,
but it stores it. It's so crazy.
Like your body keeps the score. And so what's crazy is over the years, like even with my midwife Geneva, when she would do like cervical checks on me, like when I was pregnant with Cove and with Crew, there were several times she asked me like, San, have you ever been like molested or raped? And I'm like, no, like 100% no. Like did not felt like any sexual interaction I ever had in my life was like a mutual thing. Like never felt like I got forced to do anything. And so she was like, okay. And she'd asked me that a few times. And then when I started having, and this was we're telling you guys now is just like one of the repressed memories. There was other ones that came up too. But when I told Geneva, like, I think I told her that same day or the next day, like, oh my God, I just remember this. She was like, I knew, like, your body told me, like, I could tell. She's like, I've never had anyone like grind their teeth during a cervical check. Like, or when she did the membrane sweep, I was like, remember I was like clenching my butt, and my back was like off the thing. And she was like, okay, we don't have to do this. Like, but I was the one asking for it. But she was like, the way you're acting, the way your body is telling me it doesn't feel safe. Like, And so it's crazy, like thinking about it full circle, because it's like she knew before I did. It was so crazy. But anyway, my dad was still in town when this first repressed memory
and it's
came.
crazy, the repressed memories, like
Wait,
a repressed
I'm gonna
memory.
go pee.
Not that
Sorry,
I know,
going.
yeah, like not that I'm a scientist or have studied the science behind it, but just you know,
I have to take off the mic because I
now,
don't want them to hear me pee.
Yeah, I'll take your mic.
Okay.
Now that we've been through this, like you realize a repressed memory is the brain protecting you in itself, almost like, okay, this is trauma and we're just going to store this away for now. But realizing that memory lives in your cells, in your body, and in your subconscious somewhere, even if you do not remember it. But what I'm realizing, I mean, I believe in everything happening for a reason and in divine intervention and timing and all the things. The trauma needs to come out at some point. Like it does. And that's where I think divine timing comes in. Like Sandy's always referred to Crew as like her little healer man. She'd always call him a little cherub baby. And I'm like, what's a cherub baby? She's like, you don't know what a cherub is? Like, and you look up a cherub, I'm like, oh, he's totally a cherub baby. But you realize the repressed memory is like brain protecting itself, but then it lives in you. And trauma is not meant to just eternally live in us and never get dealt with. Like it has to be resolved in some way, shape, or form so it doesn't control and dominate. And it was wild to see. I'm like new to all this. Like I hadn't had panic attacks or really seen one. I haven't, as far as I know, have repressed memories and every stuff. So like, this is all new to me. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And just seeing your partner go through it and like knowing there's only so much you can do. A lot of it's this mental, physiological, biological. Like it was super tough. But back to
I have this like belief and knowing that me asking for all those prayers, like, and intentionally saying like what I needed, I feel like the power of prayer is real. Whatever it is that you pray to, whatever it is, like, doesn't matter what like religion or denomination or whatever. Like, I feel like if you intentionally send energy and love and light towards someone that's suffering, like that collective energy will pool together. And like,
because it's crazy. You asked for the prayers, and then that night
I asked for them at 10:21 p.m. and the next morning at 4:56 a.m. is when I remember asking you what it looked like what I was going through when I was like trying to wake up and trying to tell you, and you were like, what did you say?
Well, it was actually when you got to the mirror in the bathroom when we got you over there.
Yeah.
And you said, I'm about to say something. I'm about to tell you something that I've never told anyone. And you didn't even know what you were about to say. And then you said it and it came out and you said like, it almost seemed like an exorcism, like energy and that memory and just whatever, like some level
getting it out,
spirit, or like, I don't even know what to call it. Like,
freaking
exercise and came out of you, because then there was like some level of like you were leaning against the sink, like convulsing a bit, and almost like a clearance.
Yeah.
And it like it was wild to witness, and I'm just there like new to all of this, like, whoa, okay, how do I respond, react, support here now? Like, she's just going through it. I just got to be here. But it did seem like something like left you almost.
Yeah,
which was wild to see.
Yeah, and it's crazy. So as the days went on, I had a few more repressed. So there was something major that happened when I was 12, at a church camp. There was something major that happened when I was 16, actually with a family member, that I did remember.
Yeah.
And you did know about that one.
Yeah.
And then there was something that happened when I was 19. And those three things like were all, or sorry, the 12-year-old one and the 19-year-old one were repressed, like did not remember them. And so when they came out and I remembered the details of it, it was like processing. Like I was grieving that 12-year-old Sandy had to hold that.
Mm-hmm.
That 12-year-old Sandy was at church camp and called her parents on day 5 of the 7-day camp and said, I have a stomach ache. I've been throwing up. Can you pick me up? And Tanya's like, she's lying. But Tanya didn't know. And that guy told me, if you keep it a secret, I'll let you leave early. So 12-year-old, I didn't even know what he did to me and like what was happening. Like I knew I didn't like it and it scared me, but like I was so uncomfortable. I just wanted to go home. I wanted to be home with my mom and dad. And so when he said, if you keep it a secret, And so it's so crazy. Like I think of all the layers to this, and it's like it makes so much sense why a lot of my life I've been like anti-religion and been like church is corrupt, and like I never fully piece it together until this uh repressed memory came out, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this happened to me at sleepaway church camp. This is supposed to be a safe place. Like what the heck?
Yeah, I think definitely there's a lot to that and a lot there, and I think too what realizing and looking back now more so and realizing like then you almost a lot of times were like in like 12 you were like 12-year-old Sandy but in your adult self body, but like your mind, how you spoke, it was like almost like you were 12 and like
it's like I was
broken and
processing what
hurt
I
and
never got to.
traumatized and like
Yes.
and so then for me I'm like trying to understand that and like how do I help in any way,
There
shape, or
were
form. But like,
weeks where I was terrified of you.
yeah,
I thought you were going to hurt
right.
me.
That opened up like, okay, men have traumatized me.
Yes.
And then even though I'm your husband and
there were
we're
nights
in love
when your mom, so on, I think a week postpartum, like right the day after this repressed memory came out, then my dad and your dad left. Poor guys were the ones there when all that was coming through.
Yeah.
They know it all. Our family is probably like, wow. And then your mom flew in that next day. And then she stayed with us.
Goodness.
Like literally,
angel
thank
on
you.
earth.
Yes.
I could not
like
have done it
literally
without her
shout
and
out.
so many other people.
But she slept in bed with me many nights, and I would make you sleep in the guest bed.
Sandy would be like, I just don't feel. I know you love me and you're my husband, but like, my body will not allow me to be near men right now.
I was scared even of your masculine voice, like the deepness of it. Like I was scared, and then at night, like part of the way I processed all these repressed memories was like, oh my gosh, all these molestations, like sexual abuse, like this all happened at night in the dark. And so I started not feeling safe in the dark. Remember, it would start getting dark and I'd be like, oh my God. Like it was like the panic would start coming, and it was like, great, here comes 12 hours of straight panic. And I would be up all night. I would be like writing and crying and downloading and just like
not sleeping.
No, just psycho.
There was a point where, and apparently that again, I don't know all the science, but this is a part of it, like with trauma and different things, like Sandy's body would not let her sleep for more than like 90 minutes to 2 hours at a time.
2 hours was the max.
And usually it'd be like maybe she would get 2 hours, and then mine would be up racing, memories, trauma, all the things, processing.
I'd be reliving the memory.
Reliving, maybe panic attacks, and then you'd be writing, and it would all be so like
manic,
furious and manic. Yeah, and then you typically wouldn't go back to sleep, and the next day would just begin. So then it was like maybe like 2 hours a night, and yeah, that was.
Yep.
It was wild, but I feel like you gotta just keep sharing your side of it.
Gnarly, but so yeah, Jen, his mom, is an absolute saint, and yeah, she held space for us. And
there'd be nights where I'm sleeping in the guest room and she's sleeping with you, but not really sleeping because
she was up
getting 2 hours when you were asleep, and then you would sometimes let us sleep, but usually like you would need someone to be there to process and to talk to, or just to feel safe with. And and it was
and in the first like couple weeks I was really trying to heal and like not have so much bleeding and stuff, so you guys got everything from me. I'm like, I need water, I need food, I need this. You got to be.
Then we got 3 kids at home, a newborn, all the rest of life. It was.
Yeah, and remember when I'd have those severe panic attacks and you guys would have to set alarms, because like I can't be alone for more than 10 minutes, because if I'm having a panic attack and I'm flailing on the floor and I hit my head, like someone needs to come and find me. So you guys would like go take the kids, the girls in the front yard to like ride their bikes, but then like you or your mom would have to come in and check on me, and like it was like this.
You basically were almost.
I feel like you had 4 kids.
Yeah.
Like in a way, like you had a handicapped wife that was basically like you almost had like 2 newborns. Like I was really not.
Crew is way simpler and easier.
I'm sure.
No, it was different.
But then I'm also breastfeeding during all this, which is crazy to think back. Like when I even think through like all the drugs and stuff they gave me, I'm like, is that even? I mean, they give it to you at the hospital and they say it's safe and they encourage you to breastfeed. But I'm like, it's kind of crazy to think that shit can be running through your system and like making you hallucinate. But then you're chilled to nurse. Like I don't know. Yeah. The whole thing.
He's
was
a healthy little cherub, man.
He's great. But anyway, so I want to shift into, and I know we actually might be ending this episode very soon.
This one will probably wrap. We can leave them on a cliffhanger.
Should we end it here? Let me think really quick. No, I want to end with how we got referred to that like best in Colorado postpartum
yes, and then we'll leave on the
psychiatrist.
cliffhanger because
Yep.
we can't. That's a whole the next
Okay.
start of the next episode.
So Wade
Let's
became
cover.
like a
Wait,
full-time
yeah,
researcher.
let's cover first overall like the arc of this story. So we're gonna cover like how we got connected to psychiatrist, right? Was that her? Yeah, the psychiatrist. We're gonna cover what went down from there, which was wild, and to the extent too that you want to share too. Like, there's gonna be some details like. I'm gonna share. You probably share most of it, but like not all of it, and that's totally fine. And
My
but there's gonna be a lot.
book is going to
The
have the
book's gonna
juice.
be wild, and then really just and then eventually like I'll share like my perspective of it too because I think I've learned so much in how to support that or supporting it or how to show up, and it's really hard and really imperfect. In beyond and now like the residual like you're 9 months postpartum doing amazing
I
relative
feel incredible now.
and
I
there's
mean,
little
compared to.
residual things to work through and we all have that stuff but particularly yeah there's a lot of wild stuff coming so okay first we'll leave it here and then we'll go into like what happened with the psychiatrist but yeah through all of this like honestly AI is think of it what you may, but like it can be a powerful tool using it right. So I'm like trying to understand and do all this research on like repressed memories, how they come up, how to deal with them. Okay, the sleep deprivation, like she's only getting 2 hours a night. Like, okay, how can we help her sleep? Okay, I'm only getting 2 hours a night, and then I got to do be dad, husband, all the things, everything else like the house, work. It couldn't work, but luckily with our work, like
You literally
able to
didn't work
step
for
back.
3 months,
I
right?
I I
Like maybe
barely did
respond to
anything
small
for
things.
3 months. Yeah, it was crazy. Out of just
Survival
emergency,
mode. Yeah.
survival necessity. So I'm doing like so much research. I'm like, okay, these are all these complexities she's dealing with. Traumatic birth, C-section, physical pain, the mental side, the trauma of that, repressed memories coming up, like sexual abuse,
Sleep
different things,
deprivation.
the sleep deprivation,
Sleep paralysis.
postpartum, the hormones, like sleep, all the things.
Postpartum preeclampsia.
And like finding people to help and solve it's like it's very nuanced and specific and specialized so I'm calling like all these people I'm kind of explaining I'm getting the feel for who's what and there's this one that's like oh my gosh women postpartum honestly mania to an extent or different stuff
manic
different things that like specialize in it's like women's safe only women's practice well and which was important because you couldn't be around men at that point most of the time you were okay with me especially in the daylight but then even with me like you had to work through that stuff but find is like okay this seems like a really good fit they deal with a lot of these things and trauma response and even EMDR and different stuff like that and so we set up an appointment and that was huge at like leaving the house I remember that was like a huge deal you're so scared I'm driving
15 days postpartum
yeah
and I was scared we had a panic attack leaving the house
yep
it took like an hour to leave because it's just like I'm like a handicapped person trying to walk down the stairs like limping around like just everything timing the feeds and just freaking all the time anyway we
get up there
should we just stop here
I think we got timing wise on our end and playing with our kids and taking them gymnastics we have to but I think also it gets
it's about to get crazy
it gets wild from here
so
we'll leave you on that this is part one
but thank you for listening
there'll be a part two probably 3 maybe a 4
and then we're gonna have some people on that like at one point I went to a 3-week trauma healing retreat and I would love to get Dr. Brooks on the podcast to share about
a ton like looking back you learned so much from the journey we learned by fire doing it in the middle of it it was probably 3 months of absolute
like
wild
psychotic.
insanity like our life 6 months the 3 months after that was pretty dang wild but like more stabilized
I think after 6 months I had a turning point
and then after 6 months there's a turning point now we're 10 months tomorrow as of the time it's recording in so there's some but then from there all the things we've learned and all the resources that helped us and you along the way, we want to bring some of them on to share like what they do in our experience and how they help. Because like the goal of this is, it's probably somewhat therapeutic to you, but like a lot of people I think will relate, and it's not something that people talk about. There's so many people that suffer
with postpartum, and you know, one of the doctors will share more on this, but like said I was had postpartum psychosis, and 2% of women have postpartum psychosis, and a lot of them end up ending their own life or ending their babies' lives.
Well, not necessarily a lot, but a lot more than zero.
Those 2% of women, a lot of them, and like that's how it ends. Postpartum psychosis can be, and I just want to make clear, I never wanted to hurt myself or my babies.
Yeah.
But
it's like a risk, and then you get scared, like, and all the things.
Yeah. So anyway, we're going to talk more about this stuff.
More to come.
But thank you for listening to part 1.
So this is going to be the Critides journey that, we hope can help people and bring on resources. And then from there, it'll be, if we feel inspired on something, we'll share it.
Yeah, we'll get back to our like high vibe entrepreneur stuff, but this is a very real personal thing that we've had to navigate that like kind of put our life on hold.
Yeah.
And we just kind of wanted to give you guys a peek behind the curtain of like what we've privately been navigating. Yeah. I love you.
I love you too.
So much.
I'm glad we get to do this together. We do everything together: parent, work, podcast. And
thank God you're a rock and things don't like shake you the way they shake me. Because if we were both like me, we would be like not.
I think it was a divine appointment, our relationship, because we have a good balance that creates an equilibrium of your spice, fire, passion, my groundedness, and all the things, stability. But anyways,
that's what we got for now.
Part 2 coming, and we'll see you next time.